Should they just cancel Starfleet Academy now and have done with it? Welcome to the TAC Impulse podcast, your place for sci-fi news, rumour and debate.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
So I get a lot of comments on Starfleet Academy. I have opinions of this show myself. You'll know it if you've seen the last couple of videos I've done. But a lot of those comments basically say that this show should be cancelled and, hell, why don't we go a step further, write it off for a tax break sort of thing and just not show it in the first place like Warner Brothers did with Batgirl. We've had a couple of other projects have sort of gone the same way over the last couple of years when studios have realised something is just gonna bomb. So why not just cut your losses now? Now, it's not going to happen with the first season. If you want it to, you hate Alex Kurtzman so much that you just don't want this TV show to appear, then you're going to be disappointed, I'm sorry. Now, you also have to remember, though, that even though a lot of Star Trek fans hate the idea of this show, they think it's an abomination, Star Trek 90210. Who would have thought of such a thing? To be honest, I'm leaning towards that camp, even though you guys know I try to be fair. I try to be honest with you guys. I try not to have an agenda. But the more I see of this series, the less I think it's going to be good. But even if you are a hater, you have to understand that there are people that are really excited about this. That they saw the 2-minute clip that was just released that I talked about in a video a couple of days ago, and they think it looks great. To be honest, from a production value, I think it looks great. And I'm really interested to see what Paul Giamatti does with his character. But on the whole, I think it looks awful. But they have filmed the second season already. Is there a chance that they could write that off as a tax thing and just get their money back or as much as possible? It's not likely, but it is possible. The deal between Secret Hideout and Paramount ends in the summer. Now, a couple of people have suggested that basically gives them 6 months to do post-production. To be honest, they're going to struggle. Remembering they're also doing the post-production for Season 5 of Strange New Worlds. They're going to have to do those at the same time. They filmed them at the same time. I'm not sure Secret Hideout and Paramount have the capacity to really do that. So that means it's going to take longer. They're going to have to try and do these projects sort of simultaneously, and they don't have the people to do it quickly. So we've actually seen from filming ending to hitting our screens a 12-month gap for some of this Star Trek. Season 3 of Strange New Worlds was just over 12 months. Now, some of that was for different reasons that I've talked about in the past. But it was a huge gap. I don't think they could get both of these shows done in 6 months. They could maybe do it in 9 to 10 months. They're also then going to want to stagger the release date anyway. I think they'll be released relatively close together. We're going to want to stagger the release dates. The point here I'm going to make is, though, by the summer of next year, I'm being told earlier than that. I'm being told by like January, February. But by the summer of next year, we're going to know what the future of Star Trek is. We're going to know if there is some sort of deal for Alex Kurtzman. And I'm still hearing they are negotiating something with him. So, is that going to be an extension? And basically, they'll announce Season 3 of Academy and maybe something else. An extension, I mean, of the current deal where Secret Hideout keep exclusive control over Star Trek. I think it'll be a less favourable deal. Secret Hideout have an awful lot of power when it comes to Star Trek, and Paramount are basically just asking them not to do things rather than telling them. I think that power will shift far more in Paramount's direction if that is what's ended up being negotiated. Or will it be just sort of a deal with the studio, with Secret Hideout, to sort of say, well, look, we want exclusivity deal with you, but it's not just for Star Trek. We'll pitch ideas to us and we'll see what happens. I think that's more likely to the scenarios. But the point is, we're going to know by the summer. Basically, Season 1 of Academy is now. Season 4 of Strange New Worlds is going to be in 3 to 4 months. By the time this deal comes, we'll still be waiting on Season 5 of Strange New Worlds and Season 2 of Academy. Now, my point here is that they're not going to cancel and write off Strange New Worlds. It's a popular show on the whole, and even though Season 3 disappointed a lot of fans, it has been probably the most successful thing consistently that Secret Hideout have managed to do with Star Trek. Fans would go nuts if we didn't get to see Season 5. If Season 1 of Academy bombs, and I mean bombs hard, and continues to drive a lot of that negative discourse between Star Trek fans, then I could actually see them just going, let's just write off season 2. Because by then, I suspect, and this is from what I've been told by people, I still will say to you guys now, as far as I know, no final decision has been made on this. I think I've always been told around Christmas time they would want to make a decision, because we're then pushing 6 months before the deal ends, so they would want a final decision. And even though I think Secret Hideout are behaving in a way that suggests they know there isn't a deal, or at the very least they're behaving in that way just in case they don't get a new deal, the fact is that Paramount by then will have announced what they're doing with Star Trek. And if it is going to be a hard reset, and they actually think that Starfleet Academy may hurt that reset, they could just decide to scrap it. They could do that tax write-off thing that a few of these TV shows and movies, etc. have done, and try to make as much of that money back, and then just start afresh with something else. That the 5th season of Strange New Worlds will drop, and they just won't bother with Academy. Now, that does depend how Academy Season 1 does. I still say if Academy Season 1 does reasonably well, and Paramount, the new Skydance owners, could decide to greenlight a 3rd season. I'm sorry, but that could just happen. And for everybody out there that's saying, no, I hate Academy, I don't want to watch it, I'm just saying, give it a chance. It might be good. There are some good actors in this show. We don't necessarily know what we're going to get yet. Now, don't get me wrong, the 2 minutes we've seen don't look good. Again, see my previous videos. I'm not excited about what they're doing with this. I think it looks like everything I feared it was going to look like. But I'm still going to watch it because I'm a Star Trek fan. And I'm going to make this point as strong as I possibly can here now, because I keep getting people telling me I'm a Star Trek hater or a Kurtzman sympathizer. I'm neither. I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm a Trekkie. I have been since I turned about bloody 10 years old, which is many more years than I'd like to admit. The fact is, I want good Star Trek, and I don't care if Alex Kurtzman is the man that brings it us through Secret Hideout. I don't care if Paramount and Secret Hideout do negotiate something where maybe Paramount get a bit more control, and maybe Paramount say, look, you're doing this with Star Trek. We love the production value. It always looks great. But we want new writers, we want new directors, we want to go in a new direction. We want you to stop this nonsense about Trekkies are dying, so we have to only cater for a younger audience. Quit that crap. We're doing this. And if that means we get good Star Trek and Kurtzman and Secret Hideout produce it, I don't care. My problem is that's not what we've been getting. We've not been getting consistently good Star Trek. And even Strange New Worlds, on the whole, I do like, is not consistently good. You'll get a good episode and then just an episode which actually makes me and other fans physically angry. That's not necessary. TNG, I never watched a TNG episode that made me want to go, I'm not sure I want to watch this show anymore. Never. There were shows that weren't good. There were episodes that were terrible, particularly on the 7th season of TNG. A couple of those episodes are not good, but it never made me think, I'm not watching the next one. With Strange New Worlds, I have done. Strange New Worlds has done episodes, and I'm thinking, I'm not sure I want to watch the rest of this season. That is divisive, to say the least. So, I would say all Star Trek fans should give this show a chance. You've got to. If you're genuinely a Star Trek fan, you've got to give it a chance, because you never know. It might just tickle something in the back of your head that makes you a fan. I will give it a chance. But if it is what we think it's going to be, and if it is as bad as we think it's going to be, then I think it's going to be the final nail in the coffin of Secret Hideout. And I've just got to hope that whatever Paramount are planning to do will be a rebirth of Star Trek, and we could be something that us Star Trek fans can get excited about again. Cancel Academy Season 2? If Season 1 is as bad as we think, so be it. If it's okay, it will drop on our screens. It just will. Because, to be honest, the money's already been spent. The biggest problem that Academy might have is that I don't see how they're going to get the post done in anything like the time they have. But guys, get into the comments, tell me what you think. Are you dead set against this show before you've seen it? Or actually, are you going to be a little bit more open-minded and at least give it a chance? For me, I'll watch it just because I've got this channel, and at very least, if it's awful, it gives me something to moan about, which is always fun. But will you give it a chance? Get into the comments and tell me. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can become a member of the channel and get to see a lot of these videos before everybody else. Go check that out. As always, please stay safe and I'll see you next time.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.